Hurrah for the choice of the nation, our chieftain so brave and so true. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. So up with our banners so glorious, the star-spangled red, white, and blue. We'll fight till our cause is victorious, for Lincoln and liberty too.
Defined by felling and mauling, our real maker says we can do. Oh, the people are everywhere calling for Lincoln and liberty too. Then up with our banner so glorious, the star-spangled red, white, and blue. We'll fight till our banner's victorious, for Lincoln and liberty too.
Ooh, I've been gone for a hot minute. I'm sorry about that. It's just YouTube is really unimportant. And also, I've got a lot of stuff on every different burner on the grill. For instance, I just finished up my degree in American history. It's time to bully the short bus kids. Or I guess in this case, it's less of a short bus and more of a padded cell, because, woo!
And if you think that's effort, I don't know what to tell you.
If you want to convince people that you really, truly believe that the Civil War wasn't about slavery, I recommend going about it in a different way. Don't freak out. I'm not gonna dedicate too much time to this in the actual video. In fact, I'm gonna drop it for the most part. Though if you really are desperate for some wig snatching, you can go ahead and skip here. The real subliminal themes behind the Bioshock games are secession, science, and magic. The secession part is pretty obvious, more so in Infinite, but it's this idea that if everyone who thinks like me just goes away to a different place and plays by my rules, well then everything will be hunky-dory. However, the utopian society doesn't work because plot convenience. And that's fine. It's a good way to introduce the player to the game world. Weirdly enough, you'd think that Infinite would be the best at capturing this theme, but its character story design,
which I talked about in depth in my previous review,
makes it completely inconsistent and, comparable to a mid-game Jenga tower slathered in lube. But the themes of secession come second to the themes of science and magic. To steal from Jack Lewis, the Bioshock games warn the player against someone known as the magician's twin. It's how science, in its application and focus, can become indistinguishable from magic. Now hold up, Cracker, you might say. That seems like a bit of a jump. How did you get from glowy slugs and black tar heroin needles to frickin' magic? Well, your hood has a bit of a built-in manometer for one. And they also try to cram in ghosts and other spooky creatures. All kinds of metaphysical crap is crammed into the Bioshock series. But the idea of the magician's twin isn't necessarily tied to literal magic as much as it is to idolatry, becoming worshipful of ritual rather than understanding that ritual points to something greater. Magic can quite obviously act as a religion. It already has many of the pre-built rituals and appeals to transcendental authority that creates a hierarchy, or even a priesthood. It might even dictate a system of behavior or morals that must be followed at the pain of death. In short, obey the witch doctor or else you get rotten chicken bones in your soup. But science, or at least scientism, can just as actively function as a religion. Be honest, haven't you seen that in recent times? Certain children's show hosts who think people who don't fall wholesale for John Money's pedophile cult must be purged from society? Better yet, that hierarchy is still totally there. Don't you ever get it twisted. Scientists and intellectuals look upon you as sheep, and at themselves as shepherds. They want to guide their flocks to the utopian plains of progressiveness. And to do that, a few of the black sheep need to be sent to the abattoir.
Willy, you self-important, spunk-guzzling puffer, dull your bloomin' edge, mate.
Sorry about that. I have Australian men yell at me and feed me LSD in order to cure my debilitating brain aids. I'd say that the first Bioshock game actually handles this area of thought pretty well. If not through direct story, then at least through atmosphere. The form of scientism found in Rapture is Andrew Ryan's objectivism. Darwinian evolution taken to the extreme. Sacrifice a piece of yourself so you can cast magic missile from your fingertips. Sacrifice literal children. Time to scalp the lolly. So how does Infinite compare in its usage of these weird story items? Surely Comstock, of all people, can attach some serious religious significance to the technology of Columbia. I mean, you'd think that a religiously zealous society would reject anything to do with plasmids. That could have been a great story element. Booker could have been accused of being the literal devil because he used plasmids, but in Infinite, plasmids are just kind of there. So, quick recap, Bioshock 1 and 2, plasmids are utilized appropriately. In Infinite, they're not really utilized. The second point is that science and magic can both act as a form of credulity. To sound less like a pompous doof, this means that people in control of the science, or of the magic, have an automatic immunity to being criticized by those filthy lower class. You dare criticize the shaman? What's this, peon? You wish to criticize Dawkins' book, The Selfish Gene? What's that? In stating that morality was a blessed accident, he is presupposing that a moral system existed before the evolutionary development of moral restraint, therefore making his theory completely circular, illogical blundering? How dare you criticize my precious Bishopus Fedorum? In Bioshock 1 and 2, the citizens of Rapture initially viewed their advanced technology and medical sciences to be the truth, and the only truth. If you pointed out that there were quite a few moral compromises, well then you were called some mean names. Or worse. Infinite could have managed an okay variation of this theme through Comstock, but once again, Comstock's whole religious angle makes no sense according to the evidence given to us by the end of the game. So how he even managed to establish any religious credulity just makes no sense. The third point is that magic and science both act as a form of power. Out of all the points discussing the magician's twin, this one is probably the most important, because this is where the similarities between the sciences and the magics don't really matter so much as one big difference. Magic claims to tap into unseen power. It promises you that you'll be fertile or vicious in combat if you perform a few rituals. But it don't frickin' work! Science, on the other hand, can usually do anything it promises. And it's made a lot of horrible promises. And here's where Bioshock Infinite just fails to deliver, because the presence of plasmids makes very little sense in the Infinite timeline. This whole theme is just... Whereas the first two Bioshock titles give you constant imagery and backstory showing the consequences of embracing science as the new magic, Infinite makes zero effort to meaningfully incorporate these tools as a story element. Me-ma-ma-ma-moo, this is so pretentious, I'm going to cut myself. Let's put it like this. They've gone the route of the lightsaber.
Hey guys, lightsabers are cool, right? We need more of them. We need more lightsabers and lightsaber fights. We need more plasmoidals and Bernie hand mans.
Infinite exchanged powerful themes for a character story, but the character story they wrote just betrays itself and goes fricky wicky. My name's Willy the Wendigo. I'm a gay liar, and video games are dumb, I guess. I'm sorry, a bit of a postscript I forgot to mention. There is no wig snatching in this video. I apologize, but I am a gay liar. Nonetheless, if you really were looking forward to that, there is a video link in the description. Okay, love you, bye. Alright, so the only reason you'd be way back at this part of the video is... Wait, what? You clicked already? You couldn't wait like 7 minutes. You were that predictable.